Stacks of letters and emails, cataloguing Ray Bury's battles over foster care with the County Council. Chair of the Norfolk Foster Care Association, he claims children have been wrongly removed from their foster families. Despite the council publishing the Parker Review, its investigation into fostering in the county last year, Mr Bury and others remain unconvinced.
The main problem is that the local authority are not complying with the law. They're not complying with their own procedures. That's always been our case. Had they followed the procedures, those children would not have been removed from their established foster placement. I am 100% sure about that.
Allegations like Mr Bury's led to the council commissioning a review led by the former chief executive of Middlesbrough Council, Ian Parker. But it failed to look into many of the cases it had been set up to investigate, including those raised by the NFCA. And internal emails reveal Mr Parker's frustrations with the council. The NFCA has now taken its evidence to a committee of MPs who are examining foster care in England. The group's case is being supported by North Norfolk MP Norman Lamb, who was the first to discover that the Parker Review was getting legal advice from the council's own lawyers, which he says compromised its independence.
The process has been a shambles. They had excluded from their remit looked after children or former looked after children, so the very people who were potentially most damaged by all of this had no voice in the process. We still have a significant group of people who feel a major sense of injustice and who feel that their story still hasn't been told, and they wait for justice, and I think that's unacceptable.
The council says this is all in the past and they want to focus on looking to the future and supporting foster carers and the children in their care. Councillor Roger Smith, the chair of the Children's Services Committee, said they'd sought to work with the NFCA on the Parker Review, but despite their best efforts, the group had put up barriers. He says that where foster carers have suffered financial loss because of wrong decisions, they've been repaid. The council had also hoped to turn around the department with a partnership with charity Bernardo's, but that's failed in a bid for £7 million of government cash. Both still plan to go ahead with the scheme. It comes after a challenging few years for those at the top. The department was first rated inadequate in 2013, prompting Director Lisa Christensen's resignation. Sheila Locke took over, but was in turn replaced by Michael Rosen. And when inspectors came back in 2015, they found some improvements, but rated the department as overall inadequate again. The last time Ofsted visited, in 2016, it told the department changes were not happening fast enough, and a few days later, Mr Rosen resigned. Andrew Bunyan then stepped into the role for a few weeks, before he was replaced by new interim head Matt Dunkley last month.
I think that if he can take the staff on a journey, challenging a culture that I think has too often been closed. My plea to Norfolk County Council now is don't be defensive, don't close ranks, open up, be willing to confront the failures of the past and indeed sometimes the failures of the present, and then we might have a positive way forward.
Mr Dunkley says the department's made huge improvements. Staff are optimistic about the future and he's committed to recruiting more foster carers and tackling the high number of children being taken into care. A sign he's determined to turn things round at one of Norfolk County Council's most scrutinised services. Tom Bristow, Mustard TV, Norwich.